Hi everyone! Today I'm making the last video of my series related to the 4 temperaments and what are some of the most important things that the temperaments should take into account in order to find fulfillment at work. So today we will be talking about the SP types, or the artisans. In the previous 3 videos I covered the NFs, the NTs and the SJs, so feel free to check those videos out, and today we're going to be talking about the artisans. So all about that in the next few minutes. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's dive in. Okay, so disclaimer, like I mentioned in the previous videos, I'm not going to make a claim for specific jobs that certain types should have, like careers in certain industries or something like that, because I do believe people can be quite diverse, and their educational backgrounds and their life situation, their level of maturity, their gender, these are all things that can have an influence and create individual differences. And so I believe most types can do most jobs. However, I will be talking about some core elements or principles that are really important in what really drives success, emotional success and fulfillment for different types in their career. Because you might be in the right industry that is stereotypically right for you, but you might hate it because it's the wrong kind of context or organization or team or role within that team, and so on. Okay, so what is really important for the SP types, for the artisans? I think the key word here is, or the 2 key words are experiencing and impact. I feel like SP types sometimes get this maybe wrong or exaggerated stereotype or assumption made about them that they only care about living in the moment, and that's the only thing that truly makes them happy. And I think that's a bit exaggerated for most people. And when it comes to the real fulfillment that these types find at work, this has a lot to do with their ability to experience the concrete reality around them and have the space to create real impact around them with immediate effects, preferably, or at least effects that don't appear only after 10 years. They do care also about long-term implications of their work, but maybe out of all the types, they need a bit more direct, concrete feedback from their environment and from the reality that they are engaging with and experiencing. And so, because of the strong extroverted sensing preference, all of these types are really good at connecting to the reality around them, noticing opportunities in the environment, and turning those opportunities into something, whatever field they might engage in, because they are stereotypically associated with roles that have something to do with practical work, like for example a mechanic for the ISTP or an artist for ISFP. But really they can do so many things. They can be great at sales, they can be great at management, they can be great in procurement, sometimes in finance. I also know really successful doctors who are SP types, so engineers and software developers as well. So there's a wide array of jobs that these people can engage with, but the only thing is that they need to feel that what they're doing actively contributes to creating a positive direct impact on the world around them, and they do that fast. They do that with immediate results. So if these people work in sales, they want to work in sales in such a way that they can see how they can use their skills and abilities to transform things around them faster maybe than other people, or to use as much direct contact with other people as possible to feel that something is changing around them. I also know SP types who are therapists, and sometimes they use their innate skills and find fulfillment through activities where they can maybe work with groups and have a stronger impact on the group because they work with group dynamics as well. Or maybe as artists, if someone chooses a more stereotypical artist role or craftsman role, again, this is stereotypically associated with their temperament because it gives them the opportunity to really directly engage with and interact with a concrete environment and create something. That's why a lot of them do like crafty activities in different ways and of different sorts, because using their hands to create something can provide them with a lot of meaning and satisfaction. You know, when you do something with your hands and there's a direct impact in the world, of course it's a good thing, you know, like most of the other things that I mentioned for other types as well. But for SPs, this matters more than for other types. And if they feel that this element is missing from their careers, they might suffer more than other types. For instance, an SJ might find more satisfaction in connecting to that element of preserving something, maintaining something, whereas an SP will not have enough patience for preserving and maintaining. They will be more interested in creating change and driving change, okay? And this is really directly connected also to their desire for experience and engagement with life. This is also something that they need in order to find fulfillment in what they do. Because if they have to be a little bit too much, you know, in a hidden role of some sort, and I'm not necessarily talking from a social perspective, I'm talking from the perspective of openness to experience. If they have to take this backseat role where they cannot really experiment with change, they cannot really open themselves up to many different varieties of activities and projects and things like that, they will probably feel stuck and annoyed and frustrated. They will not have the patience that maybe an SJ type would have with doing these kinds of things. And ISFPs and ISTPs who are introverts, they might enjoy a role that doesn't necessarily make them talk to people all the time. So in that way, they might enjoy a more behind the scenes kind of position. But still, both of these types crave that stimulation that comes from experimenting with and engaging with as many different things as possible. Maybe it won't always be as visible as it is for the SE dominant types, ESTP and ESFP, but it's still there and it still matters. So an engineer, a lot of ISTPs do actually go for engineering or software developer roles. And when they do get in these positions, if they are stuck in an organization where they feel that things are moving very slowly, there's a lot of bottlenecks, maybe because it's a big organization, a big corporation with too many rules and too many layers, they will lose patience for that a lot. And they will need to have a lot of variety, many different projects, many different tasks, things that break and that need to be fixed, again, because they can create impact in that way. Different problems that kind of stimulate different ways of thinking, this will bring much more fulfillment to them, even if they are not immediately successful in what they do, than having a role that is too stable, too consistent, and too structured, where the variety is kind of lower in the list of priorities. So really, I would encourage SPs out there to not forget these two elements about yourselves, because it's true that in today's world, sometimes these big corporations might favor types like SJs primarily and maybe NTs secondarily, and their natural skills and talents and their values might align a little bit faster or a little bit easier with those organizations. SP types also have a role to play in this world, and their skills are extremely, extremely valuable. And I would encourage you guys to find contexts, find organizations, find companies, maybe even start your own company where you can do that, where you can have variety and experiment with different reality forms, but at the same time you can create real immediate impact in the world around you. This is really important. And don't forget that the stereotype that is often associated with your type, that you are, only interested in having fun, is actually not true. And it's perfectly fine to move away from these very generalized labels that sometimes we kind of fall into the trap of associating with certain types. Okay, so these were my thoughts on some of the most important things that SP or artisan types need to take into account to find fulfillment and satisfaction at work. Also, I just wanted to remind you guys that I am a professional coach with a background in psychology and psychotherapy, and I offer self-awareness coaching sessions aimed at helping you get more in touch with yourself through different methods that support you in that journey. So if you're interested in finding out more, check out the link in the description below. It will take you to my website and give you more information on that. And as always, thank you very much for being with me. Thank you very much for watching this video, and see you next time with another video on typology.